Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another Diablo 3 Season 10 featured set build guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at the embodiment of the Marauder for the Demon Hunter. We actually took a look at this one a few days ago, and it did not perform quite as well as I would have liked it to. So in the meantime, we have done some pretty serious optimization to it. We've also done a little bit of optimization with our follower, and we have been performing pretty successfully at a Torment level 50. So to go over a few of the changes, one of the biggest things we've done is we've actually added the Oculus Ring. You've seen me run this with my Witch Doctors before. That seems to be a huge boost. If you can decrease your damage by 77% just for standing in a ring, especially with this guy having so much range, makes a big difference. We are actually still using the same crossbow, casting Marked for Death when we damage an enemy, but we have also finished the set. So that means that we are not having to run that Ring of Grandeur. We can actually put the Convention of Elements down here, which allows us to come up here and we're going to drain life from enemies around you. And then we're still going to be using the Hellfire Ring. Not exactly the best in slot for these two, but they do add a lot of survivability. We're up to 804,000 life, which is very nice. We have actually, if you notice all the little blue rings, we have done some optimization for these guys. We've increased our multi-shot damage with our boots. We've increased our grenade damage with our pants. We've increased our sentry damage with our torso. We have increased our multi-shot damage, which is this guy right here, with our helm. We have increased our companions, which is this swarm of guys standing around me. And we've ramped up our attack speed here. Now over here we haven't really done a whole lot to it, but this is a much better rep than we were running beforehand for our wrist. So what this is going to do is our hatred generators are going to reduce our damage taken by 33%. Hatred generators being, I don't know, Vengeance, Cluster Arrow, Multi-Shot, Companion, having to dump any of these, having to spend Spitfire, whatever we have to do, that's going to be those. So that's very nice. We also have the 2 additional sentries here, and that is increasing our sentry damage by 100%. And then, of course, we have our taking 9% less damage for every companion we have active, really helping us out there. In the cube, we are looking at Dawn still reducing the cooldown of Vengeance to basically as soon as it comes off of being used, as soon as its cooldown for use wears out, it's off of its own cooldown. We do have the Cuirass still, while above 90% primary resources, all damage taken is reduced by 50%. We do spend a lot of hatred, generally speaking, between Cluster Arrow and Multi-Shot, so I am taking the Bat Companion, which will instantly gain 50 hatred. And then it summons a Bat Companion that attacks for 60% of your weapon damage. You see him flapping around right here over my head. So with him doing an extra 60% of our weapon damage, the Bat gains you 1 hatred per second, and he gives us 50. That seems to keep our hatred levels up a little bit higher. Then we are running the Convention of Elements here. And we are using a lot of fire abilities. We do have lightning, we do have physical, but then we have fire here. So what happens is I use my cluster arrows when this is rolled over to physical, and the next thing it does after that is, right there, you see it's at physical. And then the next thing we're going to do after that, we're going to cast our grenades at cold, and then following that up with hatred, or with our multi-shot for fire, I should say. So we have all 3 elements right there in a row. We're going to use our shooting star, then we're going to use our cold grenades, then we're going to use our arsenal multi-shot. So just bouncing those back and forth really cranks out the damage output that we have. Now for skills, I haven't changed a whole lot in the way of skills. We are still using the cold grenade and we are still using the Spitfire turret. What has changed though is if you look down here, we are still running the numbing traps. We do still have awareness. That is an extremely useful tool for getting you out of trouble. You do still use Coal of the Week because we are still using those chilled grenades. So that's pretty huge there. But now I've switched up to Custom Engineering, which is increasing the duration of our caltrops, the Marked for Death, which we're automatically casting every time we hit, our spike traps, and our sentries. So now, with our sentries, for our set build, if you look here, For our primary skills, Elemental Arrow, which we're not actually using right now, but Multi-Shot and Cluster Arrow, which we are using, and our Companions, which we are using, and Vengeance, which we are using, deal 1,200% increased damage for every active sentry. Now, normally speaking, you only get 2. This allows us to have 2 more, so we're up to 4. You look at our skills, that's going to increase it to 3 instead of your base of 2, which means now we can have 5 sentries out at one time, meaning we're doing an additional 6,000 damage when all of them are down, and they're actually pretty easy to keep down because they last a good long while. So that's how that's working out so far. It seems to be doing a lot of damage out there on the Rift, especially at this level 50 build. So what we'll do is we'll take it down Torment 11. I'll go ahead and show you guys kind of how I lead into each of these fights. I'm just going to put down some turrets here like so. I'm going to put all 3 of them down. And then I'm just going to kind of start raining a little bit of multi-shot around. So we're on to physical right now. Physical is these guys. You hit them with a couple of those. Cold, that's our grenades. And it's just over. Those guys are all dead. We're going to move on. So that's how this is going to work. You're going to put these out, put these out. You see I've got the 5 stacks going pretty constantly down there. Pretty nice. We're going to hit them with a few of those. Going to hit them with a few of these. No problem here. Put down another turret just to keep it up, and then hit them with a few multi-shot arrows, make sure that everybody goes away. Now we've got these guys right here. Going to go ahead and pop Vengeance for any time I run into an elite pack. That's a pretty big deal. We're using our grenades, we're kind of raining that constant damage, and then we're just going to multi-shot. Multi-shot, multi-shot, multi-shot. Make sure that we rain these guys on down. Use my companion, get my hatred back up. You see we still have that Aquila Cuirass icon still present down there. That means we're taking that reduced damage right now. We're doing plenty of damage. We still have all of our turrets up. I'm going to go ahead and put one there, put one here, put one here. Those guys, as long as you keep them close to your fight, you're going to be cranking out a ton of damage. So I'm going to be using those guys pretty regularly. And then I'm just going to be dodging this guy, multi-shot, make sure he goes away. Move up with the turret line, and we're just going to do that over and over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed this up. Not quite as much as I've been speeding it up, because I realize it is kind of difficult to actually see what I'm doing when I speed it up that much. Oops. Right there, you see I was talking and I walked right into that flame tower there, and what it actually did is it killed me. But I was able to pop my ability, which brings me back to life. So I didn't even slow down. I actually got a burst of speed, and that's how I know that it killed me right there. So that burst of speed was enough to make it so that I was able to get out. Now I'm going to use this speed here, and I'm going to go back because I know full well that there's actually an elite pack right here that I missed, because I read down in the little announcements that I had missed it. So that's something worth keeping up with. Once again, physical, you're going to want to hit those cluster arrows and just watch them burn away. We're going to use our grenades here. Good grief, I keep running into damage. And then we're going to multi-shot this guy. He's going to take it pretty hard. But that's how we're going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and accelerate this video for you guys, put some music on top of it so you can just see how the build actually performs, and then we'll talk about it afterward. Okay, guys, as you can see, that actually went really well. We set a record-breaking pace for ourselves, even though we've actually done this a few times. So I can't really complain about that build in the slightest. You saw the strategy that we were using, and we actually made it all the way through the rift without even dying once. And we only did it in about 9 minutes. So that did leave us a full 6 minutes. And I do things kind of slow sometimes. I don't exactly move elite pack to elite pack as I should. So there's definitely some technique errors in there that would have increased your time even more. I think we could probably push this particular set up to a level 50 or so. But one of the sets we're going to be looking at as soon as we can pick up the rest of the pieces for it, I think we're going to be looking at Natalia's Vengeance here. I think that's going to be a really good set. We're going to be looking at a lot of Reign of Vengeance kind of stuff. So that's going to be a lot of AoE stuff. It's going to be kind of nasty, and I think it's going to we're going to be able to keep it up pretty constantly with this set based on the look of it. So I've been picking up some pieces for it, and I actually picked up a amazing looking Primal Ancient hand crossbow, which I think is going to be useful potentially with some of our other builds that we're going to be looking at. Potentially even that Natalia set. So if we're going to be vaulting around, rattling roll, knocking guys aside, being able to get in there, I think that might be a neat set to look at. So we've got some stuff that we can look at here in the future. We're going to be cranking out some more of these builds. If you guys really like what you see here, if you have any questions, if you want to see any set builds, let me know. I can try to farm them up. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom. I really appreciate you guys stopping in today, and everybody have a great day.